Alright fam, we back at it again. Your boy's been sick for a minute, but I'm feeling just good enough to get you guys out a video real quick. Yeah, I just been sick. I'm still a little sick, but I'm gonna try to knock one out for y'all. As you can see, let's jump right into it. We got the LS here with the transmission. This is our donor engine here. That's gonna go in the Skylark. If you guys been following along, you know we prepped the engine bay, got it all painted up along with the firewall. It's all ready for the new LS. So this is our junkyard donor. We got a 5.3 liter. This would be the Vortec motor out of like a Chevy Silverado or a Tahoe, something to that effect. We got the 706 heads in case y'all interested. It's got a 4L60 transmission. We're gonna also use that. So it came out of a 2-wheel drive, so that's a perfect combo just to pop right into the 64 Skylark and have a good drivetrain that'll get us down the road and have this thing running better than it did from the factory. This is where we're gonna start. In order to get this into there, I wanna prep it first. A lot of this stuff we don't even need. So I'm gonna ditch all the wiring harness. This bulkhead fitting here with the fuse box is gone. I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of the ECU. And then we don't need this intake here. So off top, all that stuff's gonna go. The exhaust manifolds will go. I'm gonna leave them on now because I'm gonna degrease it and I wanna keep the water from going inside the cylinder head. So I will leave that on for now. So we're probably not gonna use the stock exhaust manifolds. So once everything's all taken off, I'm gonna actually take the coil packs off too to expose the valve covers because I wanna degrease everything and then shoot it down with water and just scrub it and get it ready for paint. Because I think I'm gonna paint it before putting it in. I might as well, it's out. And I'm not planning on doing anything to it yet anyways. So I'm running it stock. So I'm just gonna paint it, make it look good and put it in. It's a budget build, so we're gonna stick to that. I just don't wanna spend a lot of money and time there when I have so much else to do on the Skylark, because this thing needs brakes. It's still got front drums. You can see that there. And then it's got this single reservoir for the master cylinder. So yeah, this thing needs a lot of extra stuff. Like the Camaro didn't need any of that. It already had front disc, had dual master cylinder reservoirs. But no, and I got to do all the interior in here too. It's got a lot of work. So I'm not going to focus all my time and money in the engine up right up front. I'm going to wait till later to actually upgrade it and put the cam in it, put the boost if I decide to go with boost. I don't know, we'll see. But for now, we're just going to bust it down, break it apart enough that we can get it degreased and see what we have to work with as far as painting it. All right, so let me jump to it, put you guys on time lapse. All right, fam, as you can see from the time lapse, we got the engine all stripped down. It's completely undressed. I even took off the coil pack so I could get that grime under there. Just that way I can reach everything. I even took the engine cover off here. everything's out. I did leave the sensors in. You can see the map sensor there, the oil pressure sending units there. So that way we don't get any water down those orifices. I don't want water getting into my oil galleys or into my air passages. I'm gonna also cap off these fuel lines before we spray it down. But as you can see, it's grimy. We're gonna go ahead and get this all cleaned up, even the transmission, all back here on the back of the block. Get it sprayed down and degreased, and then we're gonna paint it. So, one last look around. Quick look at it here before we do the after. So, let's go ahead and get this now. I'm gonna go ahead and push this out the garage, spray it down with some degreaser, let it soak a little bit, and then spray it off with a water hose. So, let me go ahead and get to it. All right, let's get it. All right, fam, so you can see we got it degreased. Came out looking pretty good, if you ask me. There's some spots I still need to detail in here. I'm gonna hit that up by hand. When it's all dry, I'll just use some brake cleaner and a wire brush, and then wipe it down with a towel. So we'll detail out the rest of it, but for now, this actually looks pretty good. Even the transmission came out pretty good. I mean, I could put it in just like this and it'll still look pretty fresh inside this old car. But this is our 5.3 liter LM7. I'm going to run the drive-by-wire. I'm just going to leave it drive-by-wire to go over some of the things that I plan anyways. I plan on using the truck intake. I'll put the plastic cover back over to dress it up. Pretty much just going to run a stock 4L60E. I'm going to run that. So I'm going to leave that as is. I'm going to leave the AC on for now just to mock up the engine. So hopefully I'm able to retain the AC compressor. I will delete it off, but I want to mock it up and make sure it fits. So in the future I know I can have a compressor on here without having to remodify my engine mounts. So hopefully it fits with the AC compressor, but that's the plan. We're going to delete the fan, the mechanical fan, and we're just going to run dual electric fans. I'm going to keep the same water pump. I'll keep the stock valve covers. The filler, dipsticks, I'm going to keep, as long as they're not broken or cracked. I'm going to run it pretty stock, just straight bone stock, and then see how it runs, dial it in with a tune, and then at a later date, we may boost it. As you know, all our cars are boosted except for the Jeep. So this one will probably get boosted in the future. For now, it's going to be the only naturally aspirated engine. You can hear them outside, middle of the night, still running through here. Sounds like a 4-cylinder. But anyways, yeah, this will be the only naturally aspirated engine in the fleet besides the Jeep Wrangler. So I could see here, now I got in the light that I didn't really do very good on this side. It was a little dark in the driveway. I didn't see what I was doing here, but I'll go ahead and clean that up with the brake cleaner, wire brush, and a towel. And then I'm going to take that rear mount off. I should have took that off to begin with because there's a lot of crud stuck behind it. But we'll just detail it out here when it gets dry. For now, I'm going to let it drip dry. In the morning, we're going to probably paint it. I'll probably take these manifolds off, paint the block. I think I'm only going to paint the block, to be honest. I'm not going to paint anything else. I'll leave the aluminum heads, aluminum exposed, as well as the valve cover. I'm probably just going to paint the block, and I'll probably paint the transmission, and that's it. Everything else will stay aluminum, which is nice about the LS is you got all this aluminum on here, and it looks good just raw. So other than that, that's about it. So let it drip dry, and I'll cut back to you guys in the morning when I'm hopefully getting it ready to shoot some paint. Alright, so I'll catch you guys in just a minute.
The next day.
Alright fam, so it's the next day. Here's the engine dry. It came out really nice. I can't complain about it. It's pretty clean for the most part. I'm going to keep all this aluminum, like I was saying. Aluminum heads. I'm not going to paint any of the aluminum. I'll just paint the cast iron block. I'll move these manifolds right now in order to spray the block there, and I'm going to remove all of the pulley system here and possibly the water pump too, as well as the AC compressor, just so I can paint the front of the block. I'm going to tape everything off, but pretty much just the block, and I'm debating on painting the transmission. It came out pretty clean, so I may not paint it. There's some little detailing we're going to do over here that we missed in the dark. So we'll just get that with brake cleaner and a rag, and then all these little spots here that didn't quite get cleaned up, we'll clean it up and detail it now. But I'm going to take everything off the front of the engine, like I said, take these exhaust manifolds out, take the engine mounts out, and then paint the whole block and possibly transmission. So let me jump to that now. I'm going to lower it down, take the straps off so I can reposition them. Probably put a chain on it and run off these bolts here, but take these manifolds out of my way, and then I'm going to lift it back up and start taking all the drive accessories off. Yeah, these things always break. So, another broken one on either end. Seems to be the outer ones that break. Alright fam, so as you see here, me and my son went ahead and removed the motor mounts, power steering pump, also the water pump, and the alternator. So now we can see the blocks exposed all the way around. Timing chain covers also exposed. That way we can go ahead and start painting. We're going to paint the transmission again, like I said, and we're going to paint the block. So I'm going to get in here and detail it out real quick with some rags and brake cleaner. Just try to remove as much grease as I can that was not exposed before, now that we got all the accessories off the front of the engine. So let me go ahead and jump to that now because I'm really anxious to get the paint on it. I'm going to probably put you guys on time lapse, but let me at least get started on this before we cut the time lapse. family, so you can see we got it all taped off. It's a really crude tape job, but it's really just to cover up the sensors and cover up the aluminum that we don't want painted. Everything else below the blue is going to be painted. All this up here is going to be painted all orange. And then I got my transmission information plate. I got that taped off. And just some sensors. So I think we're ready to go. Dipsticks all taped off. Crank angle sensors taped off. So we're going to shoot some paint. What we're going to shoot today is an orange, Chevy orange. That'll look pretty good. I usually do that on all my Chevy engines just to keep it traditional. I don't want to paint it blue because that's kind of a Ford color. But the orange will work just fine. So let me go ahead and start shooting that now. Alright, we'll start on the block here. I should put on a glove so I don't turn my hand orange. Alright, let's try this again with the glove on. Again, I'm not worried about the oil pan because that's going to be replaced with a Holly. And we're just going to go some light coats for now. Just get a tack coat down. That'll help the other layers stick better. You don't want to put it on too thick at first. Because then it'll more than likely not adhere properly. Alright, so I'm not going to worry about where my gasket surfaces are. I can hit those up with a sand with a scuff pad later to remove the paint. I'm just going to paint this timing chain cover too. All the way around. Alright. So again, not looking for even coverage, just a nice dusting over everything. So I'm just gonna shoot it real quick. Alright fam, as you can see, the paint's coming out well. You can tell by the smile on my face, I do like it. It's laying on real nice. The paint can though, for some reason, the nozzle was really hard to push. It was really fatiguing my forearms. And I know I've been weak because I haven't been working out lately, but damn, it really started to fatigue me. So I think there was something wrong with that can. But we're through that can. Hopefully the next one sprays out better. I can see some spots where I really have to go another coat. Again, we did one light coat so far as just a dust coat, or tack coat I should call it. And then we did a first base coat, and then we'll do the second base coat. I think with 2 coats it'll be perfect. I might do 3 though. Just to lay it on a little thick. So I'm going to shoot the second coat now. We're on to the second can. We're going to push on. because I need to get this done. All right, it's getting close, getting real close, y'all, to being put in. After this sets up and flashes off, I'm gonna pull the tape off, and then we'll raise it up as high as we can and start working on this oil pan. Taking the old one off and getting the new Holly pan on with pickup and windage tray in new gasket. That'll be pretty much it for the engine. As for any of the prep work, after that, I'm going to just go ahead and put these accessories back on. The alternator, power steering pump, and then the AC compressor. I'll hang that back on here, so that way it's ready to go in the car and be mocked up with the engine mounts. So I'll cut back to you guys after a little while when this thing is dry and I start pulling the tape off. Okay fam, so we're back at it again. We're over here about to untape it. So we're going to reveal the paint by pulling all the tape off. I'm going to try not to mess up my paint job. See how this thing came out. Alright. I should probably still have gloves on because I'm sure some of this paint's still wet. But I don't want to wait till it's completely dry. Sometimes it lifts the paint if you wait too long. Alright, now we're getting down to my tape line. The cut line as they call it. So we're going to pull that off gently. Alright, look at that. A little longer of a video than I anticipated, but we're almost done now. And then I'll be worried about getting this thing mocked up on the new engine mounts. Nice. Oh, that steam line I didn't tape up. I just noticed that, but that's okay, not a big deal. We'll clean off that steam line with some, probably like a Scotch-Brite or something. I should have taped it though. I always just leave it, act like we don't see it, but yeah, that got paint on it. Yeah, I don't even care, to be honest. I probably won't even worry about it. But if anything, I'll take a little sandpaper to it or some Scotch-Brite and knock that paint off. I could probably even wipe it off right now with a towel, but I'm not going to worry about it. Get our dipstick tube here. Sweet. All right. Get our sensors. Of course, this one won't come off. There we go. All right. Pretty much it. All right. So that's it. I think I got everything untaped. I'm very happy with the results. Yeah, it's gonna look sick. I think that's gonna look real good. And then we got our ID plate here for the transmission. All right. And then we got our oil pressure sending unit and our cam positioning sensor here. So there you go. Kind of a hack job, but it came out pretty good. Just did it real quick. Again, the focus is to get this thing in and get it running. We're not trying to win any shows. Maybe some races, but no shows. And we ain't gonna do any major racing anyways until we get this thing boosted. So that's gonna come at a later date when we rip the engine all out, or even get another donor and build it on the side while this one is my daily driver. And then pull this whole setup out and just swap it out with a whole nother setup. But this one's gonna be my runner for now. So that's about it. One last look around before we hang the accessories back on this thing. And then we start mocking up the engine mounts. But again, the engine mounts and putting this thing inside the vehicle is going to be at a later date. That's going to be the next episode. For now, in this one, we're going to wrap it up with just putting on the accessories on the front of it. Power steering pump, an alternator, and water pump. So let me jump to it. I'm gonna put you guys on time lapse, and I'm gonna start hanging the accessories on the front of this thing. Okay fam, so here's where we're at. We got the oil pan off as you saw from the time lapse. Just take a quick look in here with you guys. It's nasty. This thing could have had more frequent oil changes, but hell, that's pretty much par for course with these LS truck motors you get. They get worked hard. Looks like this gasket may or may not have swollen. It seems not to be in place, but yeah, we're gonna get that replaced anyways. We got a new oil pan from Holley. We should have a gasket and everything should be up there on the shelf, so I'm gonna have to dig that out. I believe it's this one here. All right. Take a look at what we got in here. All right, double box. Flip it over again. A little hard one-handed here, but we do what we have to do. All right, so I think this is the windage tray. Looks like it. There's the bottom of our Holley pan. Here's the pickup tube. So that's good. So far, so good. Looking like we got everything we need. We got our gaskets. All our gaskets, some new bolts. Something else in there, but I don't know. Take a look at that in a minute. Let's get down to the pan. All right, so that's our new Holley pan. We should have an oil filter adapter that screws in there. So let's compare the new pan to the stock pan. So there it is, the new Holley pan. Let's see if we can get them next to each other. I don't want to get this all dirty, but I'm gonna set one there, and I'll just pick this one up. So you can see the difference there in size. Big difference, right? So about 2-inch difference between the two. All right, in case you guys are wondering the part number, this is the Holley 302-1 or 302-2. I can't remember which one I got, but 302-1 or 302-2. It's one of those two. So let me get this all put together. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to put you guys on time lapse because I can't get any of this work done if I'm sitting here holding the camera and talking all the damn time. So let me jump back to it, get back on to this engine, get this new oil pan on, pick up tube, everything, and then the front accessories. And then I think I'm ready to lower it in the car. All right, with that being said, let's go ahead and jump back on this tripod, put you guys in time lapse. Alright y'all, so we got it back together, all our accessories on the front. We got our water pump, our alternator, power steering pump, and our AC unit. Again, we're not going to keep the AC unit, but we are going to leave it in to mock the engine up to see if we can leave space for AC in the future. So I'm going to leave it in for now. If it doesn't fit or it becomes a problem when I put the engine in, I will take it off, but I want to see if I could leave room for AC unit in the future, so I want to have it mocked up. But other than that, it looks real good. The paint came out clean. Oh, one thing is I don't have a pan gasket. That's why, if you notice, the pan's not tightened. It's just kind of sitting on there. But you can see how short it is. It's real thin pan, so it's going to give us a lot more ground clearance under the car. But I don't have a pan gasket. I swear I had one on the shelf, but I guess I don't, or I reused it already. So I'll have to order another pan gasket, and I'll get this done in the morning. But it's pretty much together to the point of where we're going to put the engine in the vehicle once we get that pan gasket on. So this is essentially what it's going to look like going into the car. So we're going to put it in the Skylark. Hopefully tomorrow, if I can find a place that has that pan gasket in stock in the morning, I'll get that buttoned up and start shoehorning it in here. But for this video, that's gonna end it. You watched me clean up and strip down the LS junkyard engine. There are all the parts we're gonna leave off of it. That's all scrapped. And here's the result. Nice, clean, polished engine and a brand new orange color. That's gonna end it for this video. If you like what you saw today, go ahead and smash that like button. And if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell to be notified of my next episode, because I drop bangers weekly. And I appreciate each and every one of you guys that are rocking with me. And until next time, stay good, family. Peace.